Yeah, I'll take it.
We're all crying.
With the crying.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We are live. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming to the Post Hoot. I think we all want to take a second to give our thoughts to anybody who is affected by the events in Texas, which is pretty much everybody, because it's a really shitty thing. But our love is with all of you, and thank you for coming here tonight for just a little bit of levity. We have some really amazing people here, and I'm really excited. We have the incredible Mela Lee, who is Kikimora. And we have Miss Rebecca Rose, our favorite production associate. We have Nikki, Sarah-Nicole Robles. What do you do on the show?
Just what I can.
Yeah.
Anything I can. Anything they'll let me do.
Great. And we have Shawn, and Shawn, forgive me, I'm not remembering your last name at the moment.
Response.
Thank you. And you do one of the most interesting jobs on the show that I didn't know was a job, which is a colorist, yes?
Color designer.
Color designer, okay.
Okay,
So
I'm
I'm
fangirling.
really excited. Because
Now for the real show.
if there is a show that has incredible colors, can we talk about the Color House? So I'm super excited to get into what you do and how you got into this, and we'll get there. Because first we need a recap.
A recap.
Which one of you?
Okay, I
Rebecca,
got
get in
it.
there.
Okay, so clouds on the horizon. It's the Day of Unity. It's here. It's happening. We get a scene with Bellis and the Collector, very beginning, and then we kind of see what's going on with like Kiki and the Blight. So Kikimora got demoted. She is now with the Crate Coven, which is basically like FedEx.
And you have to wear the stupid little trucker
and the
hat.
hat.
Who was
She has her
definitely
coffee.
not drunk when she showed up. Definitely not drunk.
But yeah, we got to kind of see like her dynamic with Odalia, because they're like sending all the Abomatons to the Day of Unity. Alador's having second questions about it, just kind of wondering why they need so much security for the event. Odalia doesn't care because Odalia sucks.
Dahlia's all about that money.
Yeah, and then we get to see kind of like what's going on with the cats. They have their plan where Ida's going to get Rain's sigil and take Rain's place to mess with the magic for the draining spell on the Day of Unity. And then Luce also gets her palisman egg. We get to see what she carved from the last episode.
Which was so
An
neat.
egg, because she wants them to choose
So
their own
mystery,
form.
and then you thought you were going to get an
I
answer.
know you thought you were gonna get it. Like
More mystery.
everyone was so hyped. Everyone was like,
But you know what?
Can't
That
wait
egg
to
had
see.
uwu.
You
That
know,
egg
you know,
had uwu.
even my husband, he was like, Robin's like, oh, I can't wait to find out what she carved. And he's like,
Here's the egg. But yeah, so we get to see that. Luce has been getting messages from Amity on the Egg Friend, saying that she's been grounded from Odalia.
Rude.
Yeah, right. And so the cats kind of start their plan to, have Ida trade places with Rain, and then meanwhile, Luce, Willow, Gus, and Hunter and King all go off on an adventure to rescue Amity from being grounded.
Did anything happen on that? I don't remember if anything significant happened when they went to go rescue Amity.
There might have been a little kiss.
What? And the fandom.
Speaking of color
ignited.
I know. But I know people want me to talk about the bit that got cut, so I'll talk about that now, because there was a bit that got cut in this episode
Yes.
with Willow, Gus, Hunter, and Flapjack. It's when Luce puts the flower pillar down to go up to Amity's balcony. Hunter tries to follow immediately after Luce, and Willow and Gus are like, oh no, you should give them like a minute. And Hunter goes, well, why? And they both go, you'll understand when you're older. And Hunter goes, but I am older. And so then we see the scene play out with Luce and Amity, and then when they peek their head over the balcony, when Hunter is standing there, originally he was arguing with Flapjack. He's like, but I don't understand. I'm the oldest one here. So we had to cut that bit for time. It was like animated, it was voice acted and everything, but it's like we have to fit certain time restraints, so certain like scenes like that end up just getting cut just so we could fit.
But we still see
still
him
see,
flapping,
and when
yeah?
she looks over the balcony when they look over the balcony at him, you can still see him like trying to discuss with Flapjack. Like,
Yeah, he's still
his
like
face is
holding
still, like,
Flapjack, and then but he's like
talking
looking
about?
up at Amity. But yeah, there was like a couple different retakes we did of that to get it where it is now. But yeah, and so then King and Alador kind of have a moment where Alador, like, after the Day of Unity, wants to spend more time with his kids, and then King's like, everyone's probably gonna be dead.
After the Day of Unity.
So bad
problems.
news.
But then Alador kind of, is like, all right, I gotta put a stop to my wife, because my wife's kind of screwing over everybody right now. And so we get, like, an Alador-Odalia fight, and then
But
that
then
leads to, like...
Kiki got some height.
Yeah, she did, like...
I did.
Yeah, she gets the Abomatron 2.0 that Odalia gives her to test out.
Damn it, Kiki.
But we get, like, a whole fight scene.
She goes mech.
Yeah,
Full on mech.
Full mech. That was amazing.
Owl House is now a
Drunk
mech
with power.
show.
It's like a pair of good heels, you know what I'm saying?
Right?
Totally.
But yeah, so we get a fight scene between, like, Kiki, Odalia, Alador, all the kids. Kiki thinks she's taken Hunter to Belos, but then it's revealed at the end that Gus put up an illusion per Luce's request to switch the two of them around with an illusion. And then Luce is actually being taken to Belos.
You missed the heavy sigh.
Yeah, there was a heavy sigh.
And we leave on a
Cue heavy sigh.
cliffhanger.
I can do another. Yeah, I do.
Did you want 3 in a row of that?
Yeah, 3 in a row.
And scene, right?
Yeah, and scene.
Hey.
That's all that
All
happened.
that in 22 minutes.
NBD, guys. No big deal. Yeah, so obviously setting up the finale. It's the finale.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Hi, it's
Yeah.
my face. Hi. Setting up the finale for tomorrow, unless
Yeah.
there's like
Yeah.
UK, then
Midnight
hey,
soon.
Slash
yeah.
in like an
That is-
hour for you East Coast people.
So tell us your reaction to your demotion.
Oh.
Like when you did.
I
you know
thought
what
it was
happening?
hilarious.
Okay.
I mean, it was hilarious. I mean, I think, I don't know, not all of our villains are villains. I think some villains are overlooked heroes. Can I just say that?
And Kikimora is hero to whom?
To the mech.
To what?
To that Abomatron.
Not even herself. Like maybe it's part of her journey. This is the before.
Yeah, that's part of
This
her
is the
journey.
before.
No, I mean, hey, we just went through the pandemic, and for me, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, I went through, like, the banking crash, and I was parking cars for Valet of the Dolls, because I could paddle ship to Ferrari, and I was a maid, because it was $20 an hour. I was like, all right, give me those toilets with the stars.
Yeah.
$20 an hour was great.
Yeah, it was, right?
I agree. Like I
And I had a friend who was like, I don't think I can do this, and I was like, I can.
I
I
can.
totally can.
You're
Watch
paying
me.
what?
Watch me.
Yeah, I have this many bills.
Yeah.
Right? That's exactly how it works. No shame. And I think, I mean, Mela thought it was hilarious, but I think we can all relate to that moment of, you know, the difference between your aspirations and your actualizations. And it's real clear. It's real
Especially
clear.
when you hitch your wagon to a megalomaniac.
Yeah, okay.
There's
A
really
few.
no
I
I mean,
series.
all right.
Listen, speaking as Lilith,
Yes.
who is
You're trying to
you
stop
know,
worshiping people.
a professional megalomaniac worshiper. So, I mean, I'm assuming this came to you by way of auditions, Kikimora.
You know, it did. And I had a callback with Eden Regal, our director, and
She was on a couple weeks ago.
And I was like, yeah, I think I did great. Crickets. 18 months later,
Yes!
18 months later, they're like, listen, we loved your audition. We just decided to put Kikimora in, you know, the next season, and or at the end of the season, and I was overjoyed. Obviously, just working for Disney, guys. Really, I mean,
You do such an incredible job with her. Like, I love
you.
how she's cute but evil. Like, there's a thing about her that like I just hats
But
off to
she's
you.
so many layers.
Yes.
Like even just seeing her, like hearing like that little
That
the
phone-
few lines on like the boat. Like,
yeah.
I learned so much about where you'd been so
Yeah.
fast. I was like, oh, Kiki.
my favorite is her phone call with her mom.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
That breaks my heart. Yeah, that's
So I guess that begs the
triggering.
question:
Yeah.
is there a character on the Owl House that does not have mommy issues?
it's a Disney thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
Disney thing.
I have daddy issues.
Although your mom did want you to be someone you weren't.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she just wanted me to survive. She wanted to give me the skills to survive. She loves me as I am, but that wasn't doing me well in the real world.
Fair.
Okay.
Fair.
She just didn't know there were alternate
so
worlds.
18
I could
months
go to.
later, you get the role. And
The first few sessions, of course, were at Disney, which was amazing. And then they were at home in the darkness of my cubby hole.
I feel that in my soul.
I love when they're like, listen, now that we're kind of in between lockdowns, if you want to come in, I'm like, I'm here. Okay, I have water and slippers.
You're like,
I'm in the parking lot right now.
5 pairs of stretchy pants.
coincidentally, I'm here.
Right?
So it's
Yeah.
Just been waiting.
whatever's more convenient for you.
I was like, okay, which pair of yoga pants do you want? And then I was like, the problem was it was really hot that first 2020, so in my booth, so my entire business wardrobe was swimsuits.
Oh my god!
And I would have like a little cover up on top and like little bikini bottoms. And so there was this moment where they're like, oh my god, you just can't wait to go back to the studio. And I was like, I need some pants. I was like, well, what happened was.
Oh my god, I love you. That's amazing. I mean, like, I think that is the thing that we don't often talk about is the glamour of being a voice actor.
Thank you. Yes,
in our
definitely.
soundproof closet.
I was
The
just
door
looking,
shut,
yeah.
sweating,
Yeah.
and they want the Zoom camera on, and you're like, crap.
Sure.
This is great.
Yeah. And then there's
just-
like your
you made me
legs are
think.
just dripping.
So
I almost fainted during a session. During COVID.
And you don't know. You don't know. You're like, oh, you're so thankful for the job.
Yes.
And you're like, yeah.
when you're just worried about doing a good job, you don't want to like take.
Oh my gosh, what obnoxious person didn't turn off their phone?
Mela, you were just making me laugh because I was like thinking of being in the booth. I was like recording something for Disney. I'm just gonna talk through it. Like a movie theater.
I knew it
Pretend
was
the
Nana,
film's
you
still
guys.
going.
Hold on. Nana, I have to call you back.
Nana!
I love you so much.
We love
Okay.
you.
Everybody
We love
loves
you, Nana.
We love you, Nana.
You're famous now.
She says she goes, I love you, baby. And she's like,
Oh.
and I thought she was going to say everyone else, but apparently you're dead to her. So anyway, go ahead with your story. She's like, okay, bye.
No, I was just thinking, yeah, the booth, truly, like, I was in my booth, and my last booth was a closet, and not a walk-in closet, just a closet you could walk into. You know, like one of those in, like, a childhood bedroom, like, that kind of, like, you could put a box in it, but you
Put your
can't,
boobs
like...
on the shelf.
Truly,
Sweaters.
I had sweaters on the shelf above me. I had pad all around me, and then there was a tiny window.
Yes.
So it was just like a hot box, and I would bake. They had me screaming a few times. I was like, oh, hold on, I was like, we're gonna have to take a 5. We'll take a 5. Yeah, I need a 5. And I was like, so hot. I was
You
I was
don't
like,
know
gonna
it's
puke.
happening.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god. And my husband's like, he's like, this has to stop. We have to move. And when we moved, the first
good.
thing was like central air. No matter where my booth is, I won't die in it. Like,
No, it's true. I did a game came out last week for not the Walking Dead, Evil Dead. Mm-hmm.
The Other Dead.
Yeah, the other Dead.
one of the
There's
dads.
so many.
Walking Dead, Stumbling Dead,
It's her
Running
thing.
Dead.
Zombies all over the place. And I did that session from home, which, if you are familiar with the movie,
It's the
if there's
zombies.
a lot of screaming. The Deadites do a lot of like.
You were so good at that. Have you done that before?
But I had to do it in my booth, door shut. It was like July, like
Oh
hot.
my gosh, yeah.
And my face, like I listen when I get hot, it's just red.
Yes,
And
me too.
so-
If you've seen me and Cissy's hikes,
too.
I look like you should maybe call the hospital, but it's just how I look. Like in my
People
like
walk by us,
purple.
they're like, "Are you
Yeah, they're
okay?"
like, these women are not
I used
fit.
to-
They
yeah.
maybe can't make it up this mountain.
Even when I was fit, I'd be in ballet class. I got like the scholarship to ballet class, and they were like, "Have you done this before?" And I didn't realize I got there. Like my face was like,
Just like soaked in red and shaking.
"I'm fine."
It's just part of our process. That's okay.
Okay,
Oh my gosh.
so serious question: did you know Kikimora had a mouth?
Yeah, come on. When did you see the animation? Because I didn't know Kikimora had a
How
mouth.
else would she be speaking?
I don't
How
know.
does King speak?
I mean,
What's
yeah,
his
that's
name?
right.
Raph has just tentacles.
Hey, you with all these anatomical. I mean, wouldn't it be great though if you were like no mouth, she telepathically communicates with
Right.
everyone?
Terrifying to everyone in the room.
She's a
Yeah,
mind reader.
I could see though. I mean, we all went to primary and middle school, and you know, the Invisalign wasn't a thing, and palm stings, and you know, you work around it.
It's a solid turtleneck when you
amazing.
Yeah, I get it.
I like
I got
it.
some cosplay
Oh
over
my
here.
I don't know
Yeah,
why
me
I did.
too.
I don't know why I did all
That
this.
is like, yeah, no,
Oh my goodness! It's my twin sister, Bleaky.
Oh my god, I died.
Kikimora.
Kikimora. That's a spin-off. I'm ready.
I'll
spin off.
that
If
everyone
I'd have known, I
wants.
would have worn my hair curly out in a bun.
Next time we'll coordinate.
We definitely will.
I could blow out.
I'm
and
like,
figure
is it
out.
me? Or is it me? Is it me? Don't shoot! It's her! It's her!
So I want to know just a little bit, because a lot of the people who watch this are very interested in voice acting and like how you got into it, and like what was your path into voiceover?
You know, I loved music growing up.
You're a
and
singer, right?
I am.
You are,
I am.
yeah.
And a ballet dancer, evidently. A very good one.
I loved ballet. We'll just leave it at that. Well, I liked ballet, but at 7.5, because this really lovely lady was sponsoring, but the ballet teacher waited for my mother to pick me up and was like, Mela needs a bra.
It's a lot of jumping.
A lot of
It's a lot of jumping.
It's real. It is real here on IG Owl House. It's a hoot.
Oh my God.
Y'all didn't know you were getting this, did you?
No.
Here for it.
Ballet is not kind to the curvy ladies. I'm not kind.
But looking forward to dancing again. I had broken my back like 6 years ago,
Yes.
and so I'm looking forward to dancing. And I do love dancing, love music. But I'd always been told I had a good voice, and
It is beautiful.
You do.
It's like butter.
oh,
Even Kiki's. I could listen to it all day.
I mean,
that's what my excuse us, you
Beautiful
guys.
little villainess.
I love Mary.
we need a Kiki narrated audiobook.
But I took a. Oh my gosh! Once upon a time.
I would listen. Truly, I'd be riveted. I'd be riveted.
But there was this. I love this. There was this airplane. It's one of those stories. Your turn. Add to the story now. And it was no. But there was a class, like a sampler class. And now that I look back, it was an acting school that probably didn't really have any business teaching voiceover. But they're like, yeah, Saturdays we're gonna do. One Saturday was voiceover for commercials. The next Saturday was animation. The next Saturday was audiobook. There wasn't games. Like there was no gaming weekend.
Right.
And this is early 2000s. And then on the fourth weekend, they had an agency night.
Wow.
And the inner 7-year-old in me was like, I could totally get discovered. That's not going to happen. I got discovered.
I was like, it's Hollywood. Anything
I
can
booked an
happen.
agent. And I had my first commercial audition. I love all, like, they all just show up for me, don't they?
I'm so sorry. This has truly never happened. They're testing us.
Vroom. No, that's so geeky. Vroom, vroom. And then the agent, my first audition was for Teresa the brown-haired Barbie.
Oh my
And I booked it.
Wow.
And I was like, this is it. I wasn't really. And my mother was like, I said, I booked a series. And she's like, a real one or a cartoon?
Oh, Mom, right to the heart.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to keep saving up for law school. And, so I would do some voiceover jobs. But it was kind of like a side thing, I mean, who makes a living as a voice actress?
Yeah.
Right? That's not a thing. It's like being, like I said, it's like being a professional dodgeball player in my brain, because I didn't know that. I mean, you can make money doing anything that you love. Honestly, we're in a world now where you can create or monetize or barter away,
Find
figure
an
it
angle,
out,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Post
no
a thing
point.
on your IG live.
Ooh, I mean, right?
We get paid copiously. For
I
this.
still worked for a bank, and because I thought that was going to pay off all my student loans, so I could go to law school. And there was a little hiccup in the financial system, and my backup job, like my fun job, was now one of my 3 jobs. So, maid, parking cars, and sometimes voiceover. With free food, guys. That was the best.
I mean,
They have
craft
the best craft service. And when you are hand to mouth, you're like,
voiceovers?
oh my gosh. So I had ramen
gotten
for
food, like,
breakfast.
once.
Ramen. Well, you started now you started in a closet, see? And no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah, okay. No.
It was a lot of closet time.
But I would have 3 for $1 burritos, so that's like a whole day, right? Or the free for $1 ramen. But then you'd go in and they'd be like, "Would you like a scone?"
Yeah, the Santa Monica studios
Yeah,
used to
like
make you an omelet.
Margarita mix, latte.
I would just
they're
always there for the free coffee. I was like, I can have it.
right?
I know.
And
that
then there's like
$5?
some
Yeah.
assistant that I love that like does a heart or something as if you're at a real
Oh yeah,
place
and they're like, "What kind of milk do you want?" And I was like, "Whatever. This one is
from a cow.
not powdered. Yeah,
A goat.
not powdered.
I don't.
I prefer
A cup. Yeah.
yeah, whatever comes out.
And then they give this thing and it's fancy and you feel like this would be $6 in the real world, which is 6 days, by the way, of food for you at this time.
Yes.
That's for me anyway. So it was lovely, and I still appreciated it, but I mean, I'm not going to become famous or, I don't know, be in millions of games or anything, or work for Disney. That's not going to happen. But it
Cut
did.
to.
Yeah, and you know
Meredith
what?
says, and then she
She
did.
did. And I got discovered,
Dear.
and I told the agent, you know, about a year in, that like, this wasn't realistic. I dropped my agent.
Oh my God.
Because, I mean, so I was my own glass ceiling. Hey, peeps, those of you that people are telling it doesn't happen, and then when it does, guys.
Right.
Run to it.
Right.
I mean, life is too short. If you're in the middle of your dream, don't be like, but what if it doesn't last? I just decided in like 2010, I was like, if it doesn't last, I'm just going to have fun. And as soon as it peters out, I'm going to go to law school. And then it was 2011 and 2012 and...
Yeah, it doesn't.
now
But
you're in-
it's what do they call it? That theory of like scarcity. That scarcity
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah.
A lot of us were raised on that. Like they will run out. Why does it have to run out? There are enough jobs. There's enough
And
of
then
us
COVID
making other
came,
jobs.
and we kept working.
Yes.
And
Especially
so-
if you were acting in any other facets, you're like, well, that's the only way you're going to keep working right now. Like,
is in the sauna in your swimsuit. It was like we were webcam girls, but not.
like you put on the
Totally
makeup
dressed.
and then just watched it melt, melt and more.
But how long did you do that? Let's talk. Like how long?
Ma-
Because I
mascara?
put makeup on maybe for the first 4 sessions, and then I was like, why am I?
I go on and off just to keep them guessing so they don't think I'm a total slob. Like, sometimes I look really good, and then other times
Your
I'm like,
skin
I
is
put on
butter.
jeans.
Yeah.
Wait,
I
jeans?
just bought some new cosmetics.
You wore. I did that once.
You don't
I
wear
wore
jeans?
jeans inside of my booth once.
Oh, not in my booth. I mean, like, when I go to the sessions. When I go in
when you're
person.
fancy like that. When you're
Yeah,
fancy,
I
you
know, but
put
then
on
I'm always
girl.
scared that, like, I'll knock my camera and they'll see I'm in my, like, sweatshorts. You know, like, I'm
Right.
always scared. Like, I don't want to be exposed. So I actually usually get dressed head to toe. Like, even shoes. One time I wasn't wearing shoes and I was like, ooh, they're going to see my little toes. And I have a manicure. And they're going to think I'm a slob.
Girl, you bougie. You so bougie. No, I was not.
Manicure.
No.
I'm just scared. I would be the person because I also like I would start a session. I'd have my like Tears of the Patriarchy mug, like all my mugs, or like one is like emotional roller coaster, and then my other one's like Ruth Bader Ginsburg on like a unicorn like this. And I was like, I would start and I'd be like, oh, hide your mug. Like I would be like in front of my own mug, like, oh no. One says like Dog Dad, and I was like, oh god. I was like, Robbie, you gotta get like a plain like a session mug for me, like for when I'm working.
Yeah, I watched myself morph into our parents. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, God.
During the pandemic, you're like, "Hello, I'm ready for my session," and then you're like, "Hello, I'm ready for my session," and then you're just like, "Yeah, guys, I'm gonna be right there."
You roll.
Yeah, okay.
We'll be right there.
You're like, they can't smell my breath. I'll brush tonight.
No, I would always be like, can I wear a sports bra? I wear a sports bra. I wear a sports bra. Yeah, it's fine.
I started triple sports braing. Yeah, about halfway through.
Why not?
Wires are dead to me now.
Why? Truly.
Why?
Why
Yeah.
do we do it?
It's in the name.
I don't think I'll
fucking
ever get me in.
masochist.
Yeah, truly. I think I have one wired bra now that fits. And I'm like, this is for real special days.
Yeah.
When we put this on, we're going to go make
Real
some big
special
money.
days.
Okay?
The day you get married and never again.
I had a
I'm
real.
married. I'm
I
still
know.
I
I
have
know.
one.
Oh, how nice.
Hasn't worn it
One,
since.
yeah.
Yeah, we still have it. No, but the pain.
No, I got a new one.
I feel sorry for our colorist. He's like,
I
I
know.
don't know what
We
you're
love you,
what she's
Shawn.
what you speak
How
of.
was your bra situation during the
No,
pandemic?
none.
More or less than the...
So this is a perfect segue.
So while we're on topic,
So tell us, tell the people,
share with your audience, your public,
tell us what you do and how you discovered it.
and how...
How you got discovered.
Because you've done, like, you
Yeah.
did the talisman monster in Hollow Mind, right?
Yes, yes,
oh
I
my
did.
God, that blew
Everyone
my
was
Color.
mind
mind.
for a long time when we saw that.
Like,
Oh,
I
thank
still,
you.
I like therapy. For real.
It was so much scarier
That was
seeing
one
it
of
than
my
reading
favorite
it.
ones I got to work on.
So incredible.
So like atmospheric and like
Yes.
intense. But yeah, I get from the beginning. I have a weird path to this because I was completely
You're good company.
not really in animation at all. After college, I was working in themed entertainment for a little bit, like theme park
Okay.
sort of stuff.
Okay.
And then
What does that mean? No, I don't get to say okay. Like you weren't
work in
designing.
Imaginarium?
You weren't designing roller coasters, but you were designing like the atmosphere of roller
Oh,
coasters.
I was just like a PA and coordinator.
Don't say just.
At these studios that were creating theme parks for other areas.
That's a job I didn't know
That's
existed. That
amazing.
sounds.
That was one I
amazing.
also kind of fell into. And the park I was working on never got made. But it's fine, so I can't talk about it. But eventually, through a series of like mutual meetings and luck, I was so happened after I was laid off, a couple days later, I got an email from someone that I had met at Disney, and they're like, I don't know where your job at. I had met them like 3 years earlier.
Oh,
And you
wow.
said, I just fired my theme park.
And he was like, well, would you be interested in a position here? So I applied, or got me in. I interviewed, and I got the job, and it was in the post-production at Disney TVA, and I was a production coordinator. So I kind of touched all the shows that TVA was working on. Like I was really, I just kind of sit there, and if they need files from an episode or something, or if they need an episode broken down where it's like, oh, we need this for artwork or something, I would go into the animation files themselves, break them up, and get them what they need. And through that, I learned how to use the software that the animation stuff is in.
And what was your specific degree in college?
I studied graphic communication at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo.
Wow.
It's didn't really have much to do with what I'm doing now.
No, it's just good to know. Like,
yeah,
exactly.
it-
What
not
where you
like you
got
went to, like,
what
RISD or
skills.
anything.
Yeah.
I don't have any formal art training really. I
I don't have any
People,
training. It's totally
people
fine.
on IG need to hear this.
Yes.
Yeah.
and
Tell me if you get off.
No.
Like, I can't see the things.
Tell but
I got you. I'm your AD.
yeah, like I took some color classes actually in through that major, but it was more in the lens of like, hey, this is how we print things and like how much ink and stuff goes into this and how you get color results and stuff. So that actually did, I think, eventually come into play.
Yeah.
So that was my
Zoom in.
learning.
What?
Zoom in. Yeah.
This way?
No, push in. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
education
Perfect.
side of things.
Okay, gorgeous.
But yeah, so I was still in post, and I was there for a year and a half, or nearing on 2.
What show?
All of it was like, since it was post, it was like everything that we had. So
All
I
of
like
them.
All of
it was
Disney. All of Disney.
DuckTales, Tangled, Mickey, like whatever.
Very
like,
cool.
I kind of just touched all the shows.
You cried at the end of every day because it was such a terrible burden. All
just
of
the weight of the
shows.
world on my shoulders. Yeah. But so at one point, I saw the trailer for Owl House at one of our all hands meetings, and I was like, man, that show looks so cool. I would love, that'll never happen, but I'd love to be a part of it. And
It'll happen.
it was
Narrator.
it started
That's the theme
in
of today,
production.
isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Halfway through season 1, they needed a new color designer, and my old boss called me and was like, would you be interested, like, we know you know the software, would you be interested in testing for this, to try it out? And
Oh my God.
it was then like a month and a half of tests of different things, trying out, doing some stuff for Owl House, and eventually I got the job.
That's amazing.
And
Wow,
I-
a month and a half of tests.
It was a
That's
lot of
amazing.
tests.
They were like this guy.
Well, they were like, it was like I'm
You get the
no
keys to the
formal
castle. Yeah.
art training, so
But-
they're like, we're not certain, but like,
He
can you
seems
do
like
some
a
stuff for
savant.
us?
Well, and they trusted you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So tell me, like, exactly what your job entails. Like,
Yeah.
do you get the frames from the storyboard artist and then you color them in? Like, how does it work?
So we get the black and white designs from our designers,
Okay.
and I take those and I import them into Harmony, which is our program that we use for animation, and I color them in there. And so I'll break them up and I'll kind of design that. I'll do the lighting for certain scenes, or like the whole things. There's treatments we'll do, like for Hollow Mind, how the characters kind of have this like hazy kind of like blur around them as they're in the dreamscape. Like we kind of go back and forth with how we're going to treat characters for certain sequences and stuff. So there's all down to the minutia of like, all right, well, this like a blast is on screen for 1 second, but we need a color for the rims that are on their shoulders and stuff. So.
And so, how many of you are there? Like, when you say we, who's talking about this?
In season 2, there were 2 of us.
Okay, and then you two talk back and forth.
I forgot you only had 2.
Wow.
You got such an upgrade for season
Yes,
3.
yes. There were 2 of us for all of season 1 and most of season 2, and then one of our color designers, Mari, they went on to another production, and so it was me and actually Vessi, our retake director. She came on and helped me out finishing out
my gosh.
the end of season 2, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then
So you also did the color on the kiss scene, right? Like with the vines and all those.
I did do some of the lighting and stuff for that. Yeah.
It's really
gorgeous.
it's beautiful, and then the blushes were so perfect on both of them.
Yeah, and I mean, I do, can't take all the credit because some of the lighting and stuff is established by our
they're
beautiful,
not here to take all the credit.
our BG paints create great like backdrops, and then I, use those as my basis for what I eventually create.
Very cool.
It is.
So you've been on it since mid-season 1.
Yes.
And you're going through season 3. You're like you're like hardened by this point.
Yeah. And, I mean, it was my first color design job, first art design job. And
Do you think you're going to stick with this kind of path?
I'm loving it. Yeah.
Exciting.
I mean, season 3, I got the bump up to lead color design.
Yay!
So, I'm in charge.
Captain color designer.
And I love to keep doing it in the future because it's a lot of fun.
That is so cool. And what a show. I mean,
Oh.
Oh, God.
what a show to get to work on
All,
color.
all the
Yeah.
magic
Like I
and
said.
effects. Yeah.
And like
Well, the no
when-
sleep too.
a horror comedy, like that's like in my veins. I love horror movies, and like
Me
I just, I just like couldn't have asked for a better production to come on to.
On
That is
that
so
note,
cool.
what is your favorite horror movie? We should probably know that.
I always say The Thing, but that's like also just my favorite movie. Period.
Okay,
I
old school.
love John
Yes.
Carpenter. Huge fan.
It's a solid.
okay.
It's a solid
But
choice.
also Evil Dead 2
Yes!
is actually, and that's why when you said Evil Dead, I was like, oh,
Army of Darkness.
You're like,
I love Evil Dead. Like, talk about horror comedy.
I
Like,
mean, Army of Darkness is like one of my top 5 favorite films ever, and it's way more comedy, obviously, than
Yes, yes.
horror. But when I booked that game, I was like, oh my
what about you two? Do you ever watch horror movies? Do you have favorites? Do you enjoy the horror genre?
I mean, different.
Different. What does that
If
mean?
it's out, I'll watch it.
But if
it's
I was
but
like,
I
do you
don't
want to come over
actively
and watch a
seek it
scary movie? You would say no.
Sure.
Or can we watch it?
I'll be like, sure.
Are you a scaredy
No.
cat?
I hate most scary movies.
I
can't
do. No, I mean, my mother was in the medical field, in the military, and so when things are blowing up, I'm like, oh my gosh, evisceration, tamponade, get to him. Now we're in the golden hour. Like, my disaster relief person, like, goes nuts, and by the end of the thing, I'm just like, I'm thinking of all of the reverberations of, yeah, it was not the most fun.
So real and sad.
But that guy that just died.
Yeah.
And what about you, Nikki? What's your favorite?
Oh,
On the spot, I put you on the spot.
Paranormal Activity. I think it's the most successful for the budget.
Okay.
They made magic. I'll never be as scared as I was the first time watching that. And what was it? Their budget like $5,000 or $10,000.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's bananas.
I think that's the theme of the day, where it's not as hard as you think it is sometimes. If
Nope.
you've got a passion or a dream, your budget is going to work it out. right?
Everyone thinks that everyone else knows what they're doing, and everyone
Yes.
that's a secret. Everyone thinks that everyone knows what they're doing, and everyone's so professional. Everyone has so much training or experience. Yada yada yada. It's all fake. It is like you said. You're like, I just kind of got here, and then I did this other thing, and like you said, you're like, I just kind of tried it, and I didn't take it seriously, and then I realized like maybe I could do more. And
now
this
I
is fun.
can't imagine. I want to be like 98 and being like, "What do you got for me, kid?"
Yeah, but it wasn't like, oh, Mela, you didn't check X, Y, Z. Like you said, you were like, I took a class. It might not have been reputable, but because I mean, it doesn't. I think that's the
I think
lesson.
some of it's just the steps.
Yeah,
really.
just
You
try.
know, is that you take steps towards whatever the outcome is. And I think if people have absolute plans, something like COVID or a family illness or a natural disaster,
personal illness.
yeah, personal illness. Well, that's in the family. I mean, if
Yeah.
you have one. But there's
You're
this
part of
feeling
your
like people get really sad when they've got it all marked out, and at the age of 50 and 60 and 70, and they are super sad when it doesn't work out that way. But if you know what you love, like what's on your love list. I love to create. I love working with people. I like to be alone, whatever.
Yeah.
Those are the things that you can at least, expand and take tiny steps towards. I'm not sure the ultimate, like exponential possibilities in the world. I think all of us sitting at this table are at jobs that we're like, oh, is that a job? Like, oh, okay.
Yes, truly. I didn't know
Yeah.
you could just do this.
I didn't
Like,
either.
I never even thought about it really. Like, not
So
that I didn't
taking
love
some
cartoons.
steps
just like,
towards what your blisses, and now that we're focusing more on mental health and learning, how we process information, there's a lot more emphasis on how does your brain work? What do you excel at? And I love that's come out of this 2 years where all of us extrovert introverts were like, I could do a couple more years at home, but we find out what creates balance.
I cannot. No more
it's not fun being in your house when it's your only option. It's nice to leave places.
and mental health issues, and I really love that as creatives we can even talk to you guys about that, is that there are so many parts. If you want to be part of the entertainment industry, there's probably way more jobs behind the scenes than in front of the scenes. And for me, I did ADR and audiobooks, and I was very much behind the scenes before I knew that there wasn't as much social media, like 2010, 2012. And so there was no concept that if I do a show, I'm going to be around a lot of people.
Well, and it's not like you said, it's not like one day like I made it, right? Like even when you got your agent, everyone thinks that and I've heard other actors say like, they're like, how'd you know you made it? And they're like, have I? Because every time I get a job, I'm also unemployed in a couple months. Like, and that's the thing. Like you were saying, you got your call back 18 months later. You made me look. I got my audition in 2017, right? Like, and I got my call back 2 months later, which is still super long. I wasn't up at night being like, I wonder if I got it. I was like, I didn't get that clearly. But then I got it, and then it was
because I got the audition in like February of 2018.
Okay.
And I don't think we recorded until like December.
Yeah. So think about the timeline. Like I got this in what was it? April, May, June of 2017, right? So versus when this show came out, versus when the rest of it, like when we actually started working on it, it's such a long thing. So people are like, how'd you know? It's like, I didn't. Like, I had no idea it was a thing. I auditioned for Amity. I just looked that up. I found out.
Really?
Yeah, I auditioned for Luce and Amity for both. Yeah, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that sounds like. It's probably bad. Probably from my scary coat closet. But I really think you're onto it. Like, it's just
the best part about not being 16 or 17 is understanding that time can go by, you can make mistakes, you can not get the part, and then someone calls you and goes, oh, would you like to try this out? Or
and that weird printing thing that you didn't think would be relevant and that you didn't like, right? Like maybe it just, they're all seeds. They're all like, you're just like sowing little seeds, and like some bloom and some don't, and you don't sweat the ones that don't. Like you just... Like you said, you're just trying to play bills a lot of times.
We do have a very serious question that I want to get to in the question section, and that is, why was there a rat Alidor?
Rat Alidor.
Yeah, what was that?
Rallador.
The rat Alidor was because when they do the storyboards and Alidor's in there, he looks a lot like a rat, so they just decided to put a rat Alidor in the episode.
And there it is.
I was like, is he a shapeshifter?
It's just shapeshifter. Did he make himself as a rat? Like,
I know.
Yeah,
and question on Twitter?
Yes, I have some from Twitter.
Okay. She's
One
so fancy.
is Mela. They said, just a shout out to you. They said that you're one of the nicest people they've ever talked to.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
They met you on Color World.
Queen Red here.
So just you deserve the love. I just want you to get it. Another question are Albert and Lilith's Raven Palisman friends?
That is a great question.
Do the Palisman have clicks? Are they not friends?
Yes. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna go ahead and take the.
Where's
character
Kiki's
development
Palisman? Oh, backstory.
I'm gonna say that they were secretly working behind the scenes.
Oh,
to
yeah.
get along the whole time. Wait, what did I miss?
they're asking about
sorry.
Kiki's Palisman, but
They have
Bellas
opinions.
takes
Yeah.
all the
Well, how did she make
Coven
it out
Scouts.
with hers?
Because it was like a time paradox thing, because Lilith needed her Palisman in order to travel back in time, because she gets her powers taken away when she splits the curse. So she needed to have a form of magic in order to go back in time to set all the events in motion.
I like how you explain that. Like Kikimora does.
I still don't understand.
I'm sorry, my brain just exploded. Thank you for coming.
That's
It's just end the stream. End the stream.
That's why Liz had to live.
That's all.
Liz had to live in order, long enough to be able to go back in time to, from the events of Elsewhere and Elsewhere.
Okay, so there was another
I
question
don't do
too, which
timeline
is
stuff. It really messes my brain.
Time travel makes things weird.
I'm not great at physics. I'll just leave it at that.
Samesies. Someone was asking why Lilith doesn't have a sigil. Is that just because she was in the Emperor's Coven? Do all Emperor's Scouts not have sigils?
I mean, Hunter has a sigil and Kikimora has a sigil.
You're the bastard
So it
child.
might have just been like, Honestly, it might have just been a design thing where, like, whoops, forgot to put that. But doesn't she have, like,
You
the
heard it
sleeves?
here. Don't tell
We'll ask
anybody.
Dana. Dana's going to yell at us. I'm
Doesn't
sure
she have,
there's a
like,
great
the sleeves,
reason.
though, that covers her wrist?
It was like a 3/4 sleeve.
Was it?
Someone literally posted a photo of her.
It might have been a...
Oh, and they wanted to know why my sleeves got shorter. I assumed we just scrunched them up. Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, exactly.
Or you
Magic
grew
sleeve.
just a little.
Or I got extra long, spooky arms. You're welcome. That's love.
Another design
the questions
choice.
you guys ask are so interesting sometimes.
They're so
We got weird questions.
amazing. We are like over time, and I want to
yeah.
respect everybody's time.
Oh my gosh, I
here.
have so many more questions to ask both of you.
I know.
I didn't even get time.
I
Okay.
know.
Yeah, I wanted to know what you used for your face care because you were so glowing.
Well, nothing.
Sorry.
He's like, hate me now.
This-
Girl, I go to 99-cent store. I pick up the most abrasive soap I can, and I just put it on my face, and then I was like, I'm Kim K.
Treated by Irish Spring.
And Cetaphil. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I was
Thank
so
you
excited
for
to hear
having me.
about
Yes.
your job because it's so fascinating to me.
is.
Like again, like it's just not a thing I knew existed, and so it's really,
And
really
the team
cool
has
to hear
been
more.
singing your praises, so it's very
Yes.
exciting. But it's a whole identity to the
Well,
name.
you know, it's a great crew, so I can't
Yeah.
I couldn't ask for any better setup.
Well, we're lucky to have you for the rest of the series.
Yes.
Where can the people find
I'm
you?
real angry.
I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Shawn Responts, SHAWN, not
Yes.
SEAN.
No Irish here.
that kind of
Irish springs
Sean.
my butt. Thank you, Sean. I really
Thank you.
Shawn.
Yeah, thank you.
Nikki, where can the people find you?
Snarkler on Instagram, Snarklater on Twitter.
All right, Ms. Rebecca Rose.
Hey, Rebecca Rose on Twitter, and it's Rebecca Rose on Instagram. Also, since the episodes are going to drop soon, in like 15 minutes for East Coast, tag your spoilers for the finale, please.
Tag your
Yes.
spoilers.
And
Tag your
also, if
spoilers.
you make any awesome spoiler art, I want you to know I see it. I just don't repost it because I know
It's a
I get
spoiler.
pissed when
Yeah,
people
yeah.
post spoilers.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't appreciate you. I just am not going to share it for
Yeah.
spoilers. Like I'll share it next year or something.
Listen,
if you
the
do.
art has been amazing.
So
like,
good.
holy crap! I'm
So good.
This
consistently
fandom
amazed.
is a beautiful thing.
Juice.
It's
See.
something else. Where can the people find you, Miss Mel?
The Mela Lee, THE Mela Lee on Instagram, on Twitter, just Mela Lee on TikTok.
And any
Apex
other awesome
Legends.
like projects you're working on that are out now that we can come find you on?
Oh, Apex Legends, Mortal Kombat, Usagi Chronicles on Netflix. Sorry,
Ladybug.
yeah, Miraculous Ladybug on Disney.
I'm sorry you're having such a hard time.
Yeah. I was going to say, guys, for those of you that things aren't working out right now, or you don't have the job of your dreams, or you're scrubbing toilets at the stars, I'm at a place where I can see the whole story arc, and I'm just knee deep in Delicious right now. But it came with a lot of heartbreak, heartache, wrong jobs, not
work,
hard,
and
a little
time.
bit. I don't want to brag. No, sorry, no, and just sticking it out. You know, knowing what I wanted and what I had envisioned, and I think, you know, it took me 20 years to be an overnight sensation.
Yes,
So,
that.
just follow whatever's making your heart just sing and light up. You know, follow the starlight, guys.
I will agree with that. I would also like to say again, this show is, I guess, brought to you, but like we don't get money. By Nerds Vote. If you are registered to vote, you can go to nerdsvote.com and see what's going on in your local elections. If you are not registered to vote, you can go there to register to vote. You can get all the information about it. If you're not 18, you can take the pledge to register to vote. Please, please, please. It is so important.
A lot of people can't vote, so it is
A
a
lot of
privilege.
people can't vote.
Is a privilege.
Your
It is a
voice
privilege.
matters.
It
Yeah.
really, truly does. And most importantly, please, please be kind to one another.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.